Hello. Welcome back to some more fancy runes. Why do I still have gold? Oh, right. I have gold and a potion because I was using those. Basically out of food, yeah. I think it's too late to use the bathhouse. Probably too late to do a quest. Can't really properly fight. I guess almost might as well just sleep here and everything should work itself out in time. I imagine. Probably, maybe. Who knows, really?
Time to give it my all.
So yes, hello and welcome to another whatever episode of Rune Factory. I played some Commander earlier today, and I think I made some people rather annoyed with me. Which, truth be told, is not a first. It seems very common that people get angry, or otherwise at the very least annoyed with me, over playing games together. And it's like, there's a reason why I predominantly play CDH, you know, the competitive version of a casual format. I just get, you know, fun games in with people, we're all playing to win it. If someone does a if someone does a play that wins them the game, the other players should just be all like, oh cool, you won. Should we play another game? Instead of getting angry, it's like, oh, I can't believe you won like that, or oh my gosh, you suck so much because I wanted to win. Meh. And it's like, I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this to get subs on Twitch or whatever. I'm doing this to spend a bit of fun doing a thing. You don't have to be completely annoying about it. Like, in the first game, someone showed off a combo where they could go infinite and win the game and all that. And I asked them, it's like, oh, how many cards do you still have in your hand? Because, from my perspective, it looked like they didn't have any, because they didn't have any cards in their hand, but they did have a few cards stacked, like, next to their deck, away from their board. So I'm like, oh, like, is that your hand? Like, how many cards do you have in there anyway? And before they could answer, a different player said, oh, Claire, how many cards are in your hand? It's like, yeah, it's 0. Like, I said that was 0, like, during my turn. Like, I don't have any cards in my hand. Oh, well, then your question doesn't matter. She legitimately says to me, like, as if that's just a thing that you just say to people. Oh, well, your question doesn't matter. So I made sure to tell her, in no uncertain terms, hey, that comment you made kind of, it's like, rather rude and kind of made me feel bad. Like, why would you say something so rude like that? It's not a nice thing to say. Oh, yeah, sorry, I just don't like it when people, like, just prolong the game too much and blah blah blah. And it's like, you know that by making that comment it's like, one, you've sold my opinion of you, so now I have a lesser opinion of you than I did before. Two, you made the game take longer. Because now we had to go through this whole thing of, why did you do this? It's like, you could have just sat there for the 1 second it would take for the person to say, like, 3 cards. But instead, it's like, oh, well, how many are in your hand? Oh, well, your question doesn't matter. It's like, are you auditioning to be on Mean Girls or something? Are you, like, 13 years old? Like, if that escalated anymore, I probably would have reported to a mod for, like, unsportsmanlike behavior, because, like, that was rather, like, shockingly
Hello.
rude. Just out of
Welcome.
nowhere. It's like, oh, well, I don't like it when blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, it's like, you don't have any cards in hand, so you can't do anything. It's like, oh, I can absolutely do stuff. And, like, if this one card that I played wasn't legendary, I would have been able to stop this combo. But unfortunately, it is Fortunately, it is legendary, so it doesn't work. But it's like, I can still do a thing. And if you could also potentially do a thing to stop this, we could both do a thing
Yes.
and stop this. It's like, why are you trying to be so rude to me? Like, yeah. Player just goes like, oh yeah, I played this card and then I win. And other people are like, oh yeah, you totally win. Yep, absolutely, you win. Yep, you win. And I'm just there like, I'm sorry, how? Oh no, well, you said, like, multiple people trying to talk at once. One of them literally just saying, oh, you see, he wins. It's like, nah.
Hello.
They played a Dockside Extortionist, a 2-mana creature that makes some amount of treasures based on the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control, which should be banned in Commander, but isn't.
Welcome.
So, 2-mana card and make them 8 treasures. Treasures can be tapped and sacrificed for mana. And it makes the treasures untapped, obviously. If they at least enter tapped, then you'd have to wait it. No. Untapped treasures. And then they played a clone spell. A 2-mana clone spell, but when it gets targeted, it enters as a copy of a creature, except that if it gets targeted by anything, it immediately gets sacrificed. And they had a commander out where for 2 mana they could target a creature. So they played the first Dockside, played the clone of Dockside. I think, yeah. Was it? No, I think it was 10 treasures, not just 8. Yeah, 10 treasures in total, so up to like 18 now. Went down to 13, played the commander, went down to 11, targeted the clone. It goes to the graveyard. Went down to, paid 5 mana for their commander to just reanimate a creature from a graveyard, targeting the clone in the graveyard, which no, doesn't re-sacrifice it because it's already in the graveyard. The sacrifice clause only affects while it's on the field.
Hello. Welcome.
But I had an effect out that, like, I could use my card and exile a card from a graveyard. Fortunately, they had just enough mana left over, they could sacrifice 5 more treasures to reanimate the creature again. And it's like, well, that's... So, like, there I am, thinking, it's like, oh, they go to reanimate it, I exile. Like, what's the problem? And then they show us like, oh, no, because it still has enough mana, blah, 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 and literally none of the other players actually can do anything to stop this, no counter spells or nothing, even though people have screamed at me for years that if you want to play CDH, you must be able to respond to anything that any player ever does ever, and that any card that I want to use in Commander, even non-CDH, like even just for a casual deck, is a worthless, stupid card for morons, because the other player will 100% keep up multiple counter spells just to stop me from using the card. They don't care if I have counter magic to stop their counter magic. They will hold up enough counter magic to always make sure that I can never play the card no matter what in any game that we play ever. Unless someone else is going for the win, then hey, good for you, friend.
Hello.
That's not hyperbole on my part. People have legitimately told me on more than one occasion that they will absolutely keep up multiple counter spells
Hello.
just to deal with, just so I can't, like, cast a certain commander or something. Like, spoiler, Season 4 says coming out, it's like, oh hey, this card looks cool. It's like, oh yeah, I've already built a deck around this commander. It's like, oh, why would you? If you tried to play that against me, I just don't have counter spells. Me. I just hold up counter spells so you couldn't resolve it. It's like, oh cool, then I'll make sure to... Okay, cool, then on my next turn I'll play it. Well, I'll just hold up another counter spell for you. It's like, cool, it's my commander. It goes back to the command zone, I'll play it again. Well, I'll just hold up more counter spells. It's like, okay. It's like, How about, what if you're in a pod where it's you against 3 people all playing? Oh, I'll just hold out counterspells for everyone. It's like, yeah, I'll just make sure no one can play the game. I have enough mana and cards in hand to stop everyone from playing anything they want. You wanna play a Solving? That's stupid. I'm just gonna mana drain. I'm just gonna mana tide that. Like, I'm just gonna counterspell that. I'm just gonna counterspell everything you play. Okay, I'll counterspell your counterspell then. Oh, what are the odds that you would actually have a counterspell? Someone legitimately said, it's like, oh, well, what are the odds that you would have, like, such a... It's like, oh, that's a stupid commander. I'll just play this one specific card in the history of Magic the Gathering to turn into a land, and then you can literally do nothing with it. It's like, okay, I'll play, like, Harrow that lets me sacrifice a land. Oh, well, what are the odds that you'd have that one specific card ever? It's like, I don't know if that, like, that's like... I mean, another thing that annoys me when people are saying, oh, so-and-so lives in your head rent-free because you thought about them. It's like, I don't know who this jerk is. I have no idea who this person is. Oh, wow, they live in your head rent-free. It's like... oh, wow, they live in your head rent-free. You thought about them, so they win. It's like, you know what? How about this? What if they think about me? They're probably thinking about me, so I win then, right? They're probably thinking, oh yeah, I was such a troll to that person. Yeah, like I'd be actually holding on counter magic. Only losers play counter spells. Don't they know that if they try to play a counter, I just counter it? Only losers play counter spells. It's like...
Seriously?
But it's like, I don't know if these people are just trying to be trolls and that's why they're being so annoying, or if these people are actually so brain dead that they don't even realize the things that they say. They're just acting like AI chatbots. You play thing, I counter it. You say you like something, I must say no. You say you want thing, I say you can't.
Hello.
It's like an AI bot made for a sadistic, for an annoying 3rd grader. Wait, whatever. Play CEDH. I won one of the 2 games that I played today and seriously annoyed 2 players. Mostly because of one specific card that I played. Which is Tasha's Soul Cauldron. I believe is Tabitha's? Tasha's Soul Cauldron? Some sort of a Soul Cauldron, at least. Just a 2-mana artifact. Tap it, exile a card from a graveyard. If you exile a creature this way, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Also, the ability of all creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have all activated abilities of creatures exiled with this Soul Cauldron.
Hello.
And since my commander, Liberator, is really good at getting extra +1/+1 counters on itself, I could either use... So I could use the Cauldron for a graveyard hate. If someone's trying to, say, reanimate a specific creature, I could just exile it. Or if some... Or just make my creatures bigger. Exile creatures from graveyards, make my stuff bigger. If someone, say, gets rid of or counterspells my Metalworker, or I wind up milling it or choosing to discard it, I can just go, cool, Tasha's Soul Cauldron, tap it, exile Metalworker. My commander already has plus counters on it, so put one on some other creature I have. Metalworker ability, Metalworker ability. If I happen to get both Metalworker and Voltaic Construct exiled this way, I am golden. As long as I have, like, at least 2 artifacts in here. regardless, yeah, it's one of those nice utility cards. It's decent for a number of things, but it's not excessively great at any one particular thing. But also, yeah, like if an opponent happens to have had a creature that has an activated ability that's in their graveyard, I can exile it and use that ability. One player had played a creature with the activated ability of sacrifice this creature, your opponents cannot cast non-creature spells for the rest of the turn. So, I wound up getting infinite mana due to a bit of sheer luck, and an opponent using a board wipe. So with my infinite manas, have my commander out with a plus counter on it, goes to someone's turn, they start doing anything remotely fishy, and I go, nope, sacrifice my commander, you can't cast non-creature spells for the rest of the turn. They go to their end step, I recast my commander, maybe cast something else to... Maybe I wind up casting something else, so my commander gets a little boost. But the important thing... yeah, and then go to my turn, do things. And I did that for like 3 rotations of the table. It's like, oh, you tried to do a thing? Okay, no. So then with infinite mana, just waiting to get a card that wins me the game, and this is like, no. No. Gosh, those two players were getting so mad at me because they apparently run tons of non-creature spells. One of them was also getting screwed over by someone else's Blood Moon effect, which is, frankly, also screwing me over too, but to a lesser degree, because Colors doesn't really care about colored mana so much, but still, like... So I'm just there, like, I could get rid of the Blood Moon effect on my turn if I wanted to. I just didn't have to. I'm just kind of sitting there, just, you know, doing my thing. Stopping them from doing anything to try to stop me. And I could tell that these two players were getting angry, but it's like, what am I supposed to do? Just say, oh, I guess I won't do that. Okay, you can go and win. Turns out one of them legitimately had the win in hand for like multiple turns. And the stupidest thing is, they could have gone for the win, and I would not have been able to stop them. It was a Thassa's Oracle win. Thassa's Oracle being another card that should be banned in Commander, but is not, so most CEDH decks run it, and I feel like most CEDH games wind up ending in a, oh, I just played Thassa's Oracle Demonic Consultation, I win. Thassa's Oracle is a 2-mana creature that, when it ETBs, reveal cards from the top of your library equal to your devotion to blue. Was it pick one of them to leave on top and the rest go on bottom in a random order? Whatever, that doesn't matter. If your devotion to blue is equal to or higher than the number of cards left in your deck, you win the game. So players will just pay the blue to play this, wait for the ETB trigger to go on the stack, and then go, cool. In response to the ETB trigger, play Demonic Consultation. There's a second one as well, but one of them is 1 mana, the other is 2 mana. They're both instants, and both in black. That can both just essentially exile their entire library at instant speed. So for 3 mana, just... oh, if no one can stop me, I win. 3 mana, win the game. That's it. And it's played so flippin' often. But the rules committee, who makes the rules for EDH in general, doesn't care about CEDH. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that they've made it quite clear they don't care about CEDH. They banned Flash like 5 years ago or something and specifically said, okay, this is the last thing we're ever going to do for CDH. Now get off our tails and stop asking us for things. Even though there are now 2 more cards, that's like, hey, I have seen someone win with Thassa's Oracle in regular EDH. And it's like, oh, nobody ever wins with Thassa's Oracle in EDH because it's too, like, high power of a card for any, like, normal player to be okay with playing it. It's so high power that most CDH games are won with Thassa's Oracle. Triumph Magistrate is another contender for possible cards that maybe should be banned from Commander. It's just a 2-mana creature with the ability of your opponents cannot cast spells other than from their hands, which is just plain feels bad because you put that out, your opponents can't cast their commanders. And the argument for why that's that, and these other 2 are still legal is, oh, well, you could just counterspell them, so they're no big deal. Oh yeah, I mean, you could just counterspell them or use removal on this, and, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Someone's just gonna counterspell it, and then it's like the card did nothing. Although if someone uses removal on the, like, the dark side, they've still gotten treasure. Ugh. Someone legitimately argued against me. Well, I say legitimately. Someone had argued against me that Dockside Extortionist is no big deal because when they play it in their casual pods, they never get more than 2 mana ever, 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 period, ever, ever, period, period, ever, period. Well, sometimes 3 mana. So it's just like a 0 mana, like, 1/2 or whatever. It's like, it just pays for itself. It's like, a 0 mana 1/2 would probably also be banned in most formats. Like, a 0 mana 1/2 Goblin? Yeah, no, that would get banned. Like, it's like, oh, well, you have to have 2 mana for it. It's like, dude. Dude, unless you're playing incredibly badly designed, like, unless you're playing incredibly badly, turn, like, 2 mana is like turn 2. That's how the mana system works. Oh, well, people, like, they only have maybe 1 or 2 artifacts by turn 2 when I play it. It's like, okay, but, like, don't play it when they only have, like, 2. Also, it's like, play on, like, turn 4 when there's, like, 7 or so. Like, but no, people just want to act brain dead instead, and it's really aggravating, but people just act brain dead and then go, haha, you actually thought it was that stupid. You're stupid because you thought I was really that stupid. Whatever. Anyway, things, stuff, things. Talking about stuff. Alright. Yeah, playing CDH, like, competitive format. There's a mindset of, like, you really shouldn't get mad at things that people do because everyone is playing to win, even you. If you're not playing to win, why are you playing this? But someone did get upset at me. I should just ship that out and ship this. But yeah, it seemed like 2 players did get rather upset at me for just playing. But yeah, it's like, we're all playing this to win the game, right? Like, oh, you're getting so upset that I made it so you can't cast non-creature spells. Oh, boo-hoo. I'm sorry, why then did you play a card that makes it so people can't play non-creature spells? Is it fair if you play it and annoying if others? Like, yeah, I know I used it, like, 3 times. But if you're completely fine with yourself using it, and potentially reanimating it and reusing it, blah, 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 like, you're completely fine with you having the card and you think it's a completely fair and understandable and reasonable card, why is it so bad for me to use it? To the point Like, you even admit that it kind of made you salty to see that I used your card. Your card's ability. It's like, you still used it. You still, like... This kind of reminds me of this one casual game I played, where someone put out like a turn 1, a 1-mana 6/6 flyer. This was casual play, remember? And I'd say it's like, oh gosh, that card is so oppressive, like, especially on like turn 1. 1-mana 6/6 flyer is like a lot. Turn 1 6/6 flyer is a lot to deal with immediately. If it was formatted properly, it wouldn't be a 6/6 flyer in turn 1 in Commander, but it wasn't formatted properly, and Wizards of the Coast doesn't really care to errata it. And the person was all like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a completely fine and fair card. It's a legal Magic the Gathering card. Why are you telling me it's oppressive or bad? Like, why are you telling me? This is not a very good card. It's only 1 mana. It can't be that good. You know, I'm just going to attack you with it from now on because you said that it's a good card. Did I say? Oh, but did I mention it's a 1-mana 6/6 flyer with lifelink? Did I mention the lifelink? I might have gone. I honestly can't remember if I mentioned the lifelink or not. Yeah, it's a 1-mana 6/6 with flying and lifelink that they got in turn 1. So, on my turn, not like my turn 1, but you know, turn 3 or 4, somewhere around there, I played a clone. Not just a clone that copies a creature, but the copy has Defender, and the original version becomes tapped and will not untap as long as I have my clone. So I tap down there, big, scary, 6/6 flying with lifelink creature. I made a token copy that couldn't attack. They got mad at me. It's like, oh, how dare you, 6/6 flying like blah blah blah, that card, blah 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 blah. It's like, dude, I'm just copying your card. Oh, you're just jealous, blah 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 blah, because I chose to play this and you didn't, blah 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 blah. Of course, I couldn't attack them with my copy of their creature because I had Defender. So on my next turn, I played another clone of their creature. This one could attack freely. And I think like every turn for the rest of that game, I just kept copying the same creature over and over again. I had like 8 copies of it on the board at one point. Just attack. No, just attacking you. I don't care what the other 2 players are doing. I'm killing you. And these are copies. I'm gonna keep all these copies of your creature, but I'm killing you. By attacking you with copies of your own creature over and over and over again. I don't care how angry you get about this. Maybe next time you'll think before you try to play that card in a casual game. Of course they won't. And I went and killed off the rest of the table with them as well because, hey, I mean, this card is good. I just have an army of 6/6s with flying and lifelink. I'm at like 200 life. Like, what is anyone going to do about that? Like, yeah, what's anyone going to do? Not very much. You can say that much. Okay. Crucian Carp. Rune Factory 3, Crucian Carp. You visit often. Yes, I do. The knife and the frying pan. Fried Crucian Carp. Apparently it can only be fried. Okay, this is fine. Okay, what's next? Shrimp. Grilled shrimp. Tempura, tempura. Shrimp sashimi. Okay, shrimp sashimi recovers 20% of runes. Well, whereas grilled shrimp is 50%, so grill that shrimp. Cool. Sardine and a chub. No, wait. So sardine can be cut with a knife, but also dried sardines require 3 sardines. In a frying pan. So sardine sashimi, I think, just requires 1. It was covers 15%. Dried sardines. Okay. Knife up the sardines. Level 10, nice. Okay, and then the chop. Salted chub in the frying pan. Oof. Oh look, it's 3 AM. I did not do any quests today. Whoops. Ah, no. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes my favorite thing to do in Magic is anything you can do, I will do better. Oh, you wanna spend 12 mana for a really awesome creature? Cool, I'll spend 3 and copy it. It's like, oh, nice, you have a creature with a super awesome activate ability? Cool, put that in the graveyard, use my soul cauldron, now any of my creatures can have that ability. It's actually kind of really nice because I had like Ugin out, so I was making tokens, but when those tokens leave play, I get like a new card in my hand. So I'd use the cauldron, exile some random creature that doesn't matter, put a plus counter on one of these tokens, sacrifice it, my opponents can now no longer cast non-creature spells for the rest of the turn, plus I get an extra card in my hand. Yeah, I had Unwinding Clock with the Soul Cauldron, so I could just exile a card from a graveyard on each player's turn. And apparently 2 players were playing, like, discard, like, graveyard-based decks. So I was just making sure they didn't have any cards in their graveyard, basically ever. So they couldn't build up for, like, Underworld Breach, which is a card where I feel like if it did get banned in Commander, I'd be completely understanding of it, and like, I wish that the card could get errata. Like, it's kind of on the verge of, it might be too, it's like, I don't understand if it got a ban, but I'm not trying to, like, vouch for it to get a ban. A 2-mana enchantment. Yeah, Wizards of the Coast had a habit of making really good cards that are only 2 mana. Non-land cards in your graveyard have Escape. The Escape is equal to their mana cost plus exile 3 cards from your graveyard. What is this? Escape is a mechanic introduced in Sunset, whatever. I don't remember, but also don't really care. The general idea of the escape mechanic is that you can cast a card from your graveyard by paying an alternate cost, but also you have to exile cards from your graveyard. There's one of those mythologies, Greek mythology, whatever. This would be like Cerebus. You know, the three-headed dog from hell? It's like, oh, the creature dies, but then you can pay some stuff and escape it. It comes back from hell, kind of a thing. And then if it dies again, it can come back again and again and again. But you have to get rid of other cards in your graveyard, so it can't literally come back forever. And then Breach, Underworld Breach, is like, hey, look, there's a gaping hole in the underworld for 2 mana. Should you even be concerned about Magic the Gathering power levels when 1 mana is a lightning bolt? The card game was very loosely based off of D&D, right? Lightning bolt isn't that like a 5th level spell? Oh gosh, wait. What was the, like, primary edition being played back when Magic the Gathering came out in 1993? Were they primarily playing 3rd edition? Or is it still on, like, 2nd? That is interesting. Anyway, whatever. So, whatever non-land card in your graveyard, because you can't cast lands, you can cast it by paying its mana cost, or, you know, paying a cost equivalent to its mana cost. There is a slight difference to that I probably won't get into here. But also exile 3 cards from your graveyard. So it's like, oh, how is this card so great? Well, for one thing, people have used stuff like Lion's Eye Diamond. You can tap and sack it, discard your entire hand, get 3 mana, only at instant speed, which does matter because otherwise you'd be able to try to cast a spell, get to the point where that spell's no longer in your hand, it is on the stack waiting to be paid for, then use the LED to pay for it and discard the rest of your hand. But that's not the point of LED. The point of LED is literally, hey, would Black Lotus still be good if you couldn't play any cards for it? Well, it is still good, because you can use it, discard your hand, cast, say, Lion's Eye Diamond from your graveyard by discarding 3 of those cards, sack it again for another 3 mana, and then maybe cast what's it called? Brain Freeze, and then cast Brain Freeze from your discard pile. A 2 mana, I'm pretty sure it's an instant, a 2 mana instant with the effect target player mills 3 cards, which feels like a common right there, except it has Storm. Target player mills 3 cards, Storm. So the idea is you cast Underworld Breach, you cast Lion's Eye Diamond, you sacrifice the Lion's Eye Diamond for, say, 3 blue mana, depending on how many cards in your graveyard, cast Lion's Eye Diamond again, exiling 3 cards, sack it for more mana, then you cast Brain Freeze, targeting yourself. Well, you mill 3, plus an extra... you mill 3 5 times in total. Itself, plus, you know... Wait, no. Yeah, 4 times in total, right? Breach, LED, LED, and then itself. Well, now you mill 12 more cards into your graveyard. Well, that means, essentially, you can cast 4 more cards, as long as you have the mana for them, because the escape cost is only 3. Cast LED again. Cast LED, get 3 blue mana, cast Brain Freeze. Do this over and over and over again. Basically empty your entire deck, get the storm count super high, get a fair chunk of mana, and then you can decide, well, I'm just going to use some blue mana, I'll cast this Thassa's Oracle that's in my graveyard because I milled it from all these Brain Freezes, I win because my deck is already empty. Or just go, well, storm count is relatively high. Storm count of, oh, I don't know, 30, 40, maybe cast a few other spells in there, somehow get like some sort of an infinite spellcasting loop. Whatever, doesn't particularly matter. Just brain freeze everyone else. Drill everyone else out down to 0. They die at the start of their turns. Okay, that's game. That's all you have to do. Like, maybe LED should be banned. That is a good point. People loop it and combo with it and loop it around, and maybe it should, because again, used right, it's like a Black Lotus or even a strictly better Black Lotus. Because sometimes people want to be able to discard their entire hand. But if someone just really cares about their commander and doesn't really care about the rest of the cards, or maybe their commander will allow them to cast cards from their graveyard, or has a bunch of activated abilities, LED! It has more combos than just that one. But it's like still kind of like, nah. I see someone cast Lion's Eye Diamond, I'm like, okay, sure. See someone cast Thassa's Oracle, I'm just like, ugh. Like, we're having a game here, and then you just... It's like you're just playing poker with your buddies, and everything's going fine, just all fine and dandy, and then someone just pulls out a gun and says, hey, I win, right? And it's like... You shouldn't win just for that. But it's like you shouldn't. It's about 41. Oh, someone's messaging me and stuff. Huh. Apparently 2 years ago today, I was in Edmonton with Zara, and we made some Lego lesbians. She's just hanging out in a voice chat all by herself. Like, what's up with her? What's up with that? Yeah, still waiting for the CDH game where someone goes for Thassa's Oracle win, and I just clone their victory. I can just go, it's like, what? If you're going to be so angry about it, why did you put it in? Yeah, I still believe clone decks are perfect against people like, you know, that. It's like, oh, if you're going to get super angry about someone using some broken card against you, why do you feel it's fine for you to use the card against us? It's like, oh, if you think it's fair that you get to use a card that stops us from playing spells, why is it so unfair when I use that card to stop you from playing spells? You know, I was in a game, what, last week or something? Someone wound up casting my Platinum Angel. And then they started copying the Platinum Angel, so I couldn't... I was like on the verge of winning, that they were like, hey, I'll take and play your Platinum Angel. And then Platinum Angel, Platinum Angel, Platinum Angel. Hello? No? I heard a noise. I guess it's a notification sound. Oh well. And it's just like, yeah, this is annoying. I'm not gonna get... Like, I didn't get mad at the person because, like, hey, if I hadn't put in that Platinum Angel, they wouldn't be using it. Yeah, the big issue was the other giant creature that they had out, and the fact that I missed a trigger. And if I hadn't missed one specific trigger, my commander would have been bigger than the Platinum Angels, and I could have killed their Karn Planeswalker and been able to keep using, like, they put out a... Pretty sure that was just their own Karn that they put out, and if they didn't have that, I probably still would have been able to win. But because they did have it, I couldn't win. That was the more annoying thing. Sure, get out your Platinum Angels. I'll find a way through them. Clone my Platinum Angel that's under your control? Clone your my Platinum Angel? Wait, what is my fortune level? So that could have been upgraded at any point there. Do 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 do. Like, I can understand playing casual games and being ticked off at someone for playing, like, too high of a power level. Like, it happens. Some people's idea of, like, of different power levels is different than other people's. It's... It's annoying when it happens, it's annoying that it happens, but it's a thing that happens still. I remember I once played, like, a joke of a deck against people, and they were playing, like, jokes of decks, like, very low power level, we're just having fun here, not trying to do optimized things at all, and one person was like, cool, I'll play Scary Dragon Commander that plays a bunch of extra turn spells. I think it's like turn 3 or turn 4. None of the rest of us really done anything, and they were like, yeah, I'm gonna cast my command, I'm gonna take an extra turn, I'm going to draw like 20 extra... It was extra turns and wheels. I'm gonna wheel everyone. When I draw cards, I do this stuff. I'm gonna take an extra turn. I'm gonna do... Oh, I guess I feel kind of bad. Okay, I guess my extra turn, all I'll do is wheel again. And then I guess... Well, I might as well just attack one of you with my giant commander. Okay, then I guess I pass. But I totally have like 2 more extra turn spells in this new wheeled into hand. But I feel bad for you. The turn comes around again. Okay, extra turn, extra turn, extra turn, wheel, extra turn. What are you talking about? This is definitely like a super low power level deck. You shouldn't be getting upset at this at all. This is absolutely like super low power level. Why? It's like... Dude, you need an intervention. Because that's not what you think it is. I just complained about Magic the Gathering for about almost an hour now, and I wanted to talk about something different, but I want to talk about it with Azura here, and she's not showing up. So instead, I'm just going to end this episode here. Oh my gosh, it's so hot! I am sweating still. It's like boiling. Okay, that's the temperature right now. It's boiling. I need some water.